Side question, did you have breakfast? I've had my sparkling lime water for the last, yes. Smash, next question. All right. What are you smashing? Smash, what do you like to smash? I've played Smash Bros before. I'm very shitty at it. I suck at Smash Brothers. I don't know how people can control that. It's just it's insanity. So anyway, what was I gonna say anyway? Okay, yeah. So we're at that point, and I'll never show anyone things that I haven't been through myself. It would all be a reflection of things that I go through, and things that are hopefully going to turn out for. Any advice on how to keep moving forward? Don't look too far ahead. I've always tend to think when you look too far, you tend to feel a lot more. You tend to feel a lot more scared in moving forward because it just feels like the journey is too far ahead. Look down, look around you, look at the things that you're grateful for. I know it's this is subjective too, but there's always you can always be grateful for something. It might be some people have different things to be grateful for, but you can always find something to be grateful for. And I've always found that the more you really focus your mind on thinking, like, yo, thank God today I can wake up to this and that and this and this. There's always something to be grateful for. Focusing your mind on that would always be number one, I think, because if you tend to not look for things that you're grateful for, you tend to look for things that you're unpleasantly being just compelled down to. And that's my mom, by the way. My mom's just doing live.
Hello.
Yeah. So I'll say hi. It's my mom, Jane. She came to visit me from Australia. We celebrated Soy Dance release together. Say
Hey.
Say hi, mom.
I'm getting a little nervous.
I get it. Thanks, mommy.
Hi everyone, just say thank you. That's why. Just thank you.
Alright, thanks, mom.
I love you so much.
I love you too. So I'll just explain to them.
No
worries.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much.
Thanks, mama.
Thank you for your supporting.
Sure.
Thank you. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 고마워. Number one supporter right there. Again, it's so funny. I was talking about things to be grateful. Perfect timing. I was talking about things to be grateful for, and my number one thing to be grateful for. And I'm fortunate enough to have my mom around. So things to be grateful for. There we go. And we have one more here called Lori, but she's definitely not interested in being on camera anytime soon. But yes, that was my mom. Love her to death. And she's been extremely supportive of, as you can tell, these things that have been happening in my life. So yeah, shout out to my mom. I think she's more invested in seeing you guys, seeing the comments and everything. So anyway, back to these moments. What are your artist's ritual like? I think for everyone, obviously, it's all different. For me, I have different things, different set of rituals. For me, boundaries, I didn't realize, but my friend had been telling me this forever, but shout out to you, Carol, but I didn't realize how important boundaries were for me. So I know boundaries can be extremely important for some people, and for others, they have a certain, I guess the borders are all different. So meaning someone's boundary can be here, someone's can be over there. So some people, for me, especially for me, I didn't realize how sensitive I get to, it makes sense because obviously if I switch and if I'm feeling these crazy manic highs and lows, I think I'll value a lot of space. So I'll give you one good example. If I was to change to Mito right now, I would have a complete different demeanor and my boundaries would be different. So as an artist that has DID, I have to learn to understand where my boundaries are. I think that's the first thing. Any artist should understand where their boundaries are. And the reason why I say this is we all have different icks, right? Being an artist, you're prone to be sensitive. Number one, you have to be sensitive. Because if you're not sensitive, then you have you're not really harnessing anything that you're feeling when you see something, when you see the sunrise for the 50th time, or I mean, you know, when you see the northern lights, and you know, you're compelled to feel something, and with that feeling you retract it and you turn it into an expression. So being sensitive to that is completely fine. Now, as sensitive as an artist can be, it also means that you might have a lot of icks or things that you need to do in order for you to get creative, in order for you to be sensitive, right? So for me, it's understanding those icks, and it's understanding where you have to draw the line for yourself even. Because I feel like if you learn to not really give a shit about it, then your creative process will burn out eventually, and you'll have to find new ways to input, and you have to find new ways to develop and find certain inspiration. Another advice I'll give you is you don't have to, if you never go out, right? If you never go out and do something new, and this is just personal advice, ladies and gentlemen, if you never go out and do something different, and doesn't have to be, you don't have to climb Mount Everest. I'm talking about just going down a different street, or doing something different. You know, watching something different. I don't know. If you never do anything different, you won't have if you don't read a new book, or if you don't do certain new activities, you won't have the capacity to fill in your brain and your mind with new sources of inspiration. Like how do you know you're not into roller skating? How do you know you're not into surfing? Like how do you know you're not into certain things? How do you know you're not into Picasso? How do you know you're not into jazz? Put yourself out there. I know I'm introverted. I'm extremely introverted. So easier said than done. But if you don't experience different outlets, then you're going to be filling your mind with the same shit over and over and over again. And as an artist, if you're going from home to studio, home to studio, home to studio, and there's nothing in between, then you're just going to be stuck on the computer, trying to pick at whatever's left inside here to make something. And it would be a shame for you to feel like you're forcing yourself to do it. Remember, forcing yourself to do it is, I think, a compartment that you have to learn as any artist, because if you're working with any clients, there's never going to be a moment in time where you're just completely going to be doing whatever you want. And yeah, I mean, if you want to live like that, it's fine. But if you're going into this as a profession, then yes, you might as well learn how to stick it through, you know. So anyway, again, put yourself out there, do whatever you want. Granted, just don't do anything like fucked up. Just do anything you want that you've always wanted to do, minus the fucked up part. So do anything that you believe is, I want to give it a shot at that. If your friend calls you the next day and is like, oh, hey, do you want to go fishing? Be like, yeah, I guess why not? I mean, I don't really do that. Just like, all right, let's go out and fish, you know? So like things like that, I don't think people really understand, but they mount up to your experiences. And people with experiences, good or not, you learn how to associate that with your art. I mean, that's really where expression comes from, right? It really does start by that. That's what I'm doing ultimately. I mean, granted, it is based on personal, analysis of what I really am going through with certain disorders. However, I'm not scared to put that into the light, you know, because I know deep down I'm not deeming this as a complete negative notion. I'm not putting this in a negative light. I'm trying to exceed the amount of good that this has, or this could potentially have. Sorry, I'll say potentially have, in giving a lot of insight to people that may feel discomfort with certain disorders, or may not have the voice to really be just, I'm good to be who I am. I'm actually really happy to be who I am. Because it could be, trust me, disorder or not, some people just do not love themselves. Like they just have way less respect than they will ever know of themselves. Like you'll be so surprised, right? Make it a good practice to just look in the mirror, and as cliche as it might sound, just look in the mirror and be like, hey, you got it. You absolutely got it. And if anyone's going to be proud of you, it should be yourself. If you aren't proud of yourself, you're being a little too hard, dear. You are being a little too hard on yourself, But how do you keep promises to yourself? Sorry, how do you respect yourself? How do you love yourself? It really does start by letting yourself experience things that you would nonetheless not try to experience. Or if there's things that you don't do on a daily basis, whether it be you commit yourself to certain things so for example, I always use this idea of promising. So if you make a promise to yourself, like, tomorrow I'm going to go to the groceries, get a few things, and I'm going to try making chankonabe, which is a sumo wrestler's favorite dish that they like to eat. For example, something that's like new and out there, gives you some type of excitement. Not like, tomorrow I'm going to do 10 push-ups. Do something that makes you excited. Like, put something up there in the list where that you kind of want to do it, and it just gives you the tingles if you think about it. And then keep that promise. Go outside, and whatever you put on that list, mind you, don't start crazy, because if you start something too hard, you're not going to do it. Most likely, you're not going to go up and do it. So start with these small things that make you a little bit excited, and then do it. And you'll feel somewhat more accomplished day and day and day and day. How many sides do I have? I have 2. sorry, that's a stupid joke. Okay, that's what I always used to say that to the people that ask me, my friends. Sorry, anyway, so how many sides do I actually have? Let me give you like a good idea. So you have the high, the insanity, the overall, what you might think ruler, but is in fact maybe the person that really runs the train. But then you have the version of yourself where you're manic low, or the person that deals with your certain traumas and experiences. So you have the guardians. These two are kind of what I think. And in between, you have you. But now, I'll give you something that really might pick your brains. What happens if you shatter? So what happens if me, for example, oh, smack. Just get shit out of me. Laurie, we talked about this, Laurie, didn't we? Laurie, didn't we talk about this? Me and Laurie had conversations about this. So what happens if I am healthy, the healthiest I've ever been? So is my disorders. So is my disorders. Funny enough, yes. The more healthy I am, I learned to understand that my disorders, especially with bipolar and DID, I've learned to understand that they also become healthy. So meaning, yes, there might not be complete splits, but you still manage to somewhat find a way to split, and you find a way to go up and down. So ignore the idea of like, okay, I'm gonna try fixing my switch. No, it's learning to coexist with it, honey. It's learning to coexist and balance it out through your daily routines. And you have to understand it's a lifelong, almost to death, experience that you are going to have to understand and accept and learn to take. So then what happens if, let's say, the core me is being shattered, whether that be through stress, whether that be through physical endurance, and obviously mental endurance, fatigue. So what happens then if the version of me starts shattering, just the core me, I'm not even talking about my lows and dips. What happens if the core me starts shattering, and then I go into my manic highs as a shattered piece? then your manic high also becomes a shattered piece, right? So then your shattered pieces, God knows how many there is, but you start shattering. So your kind of your split personalities will then split again. And I know this sounds really crazy, but there was a moment in time where Mito splitted off into 3 more characters during the last stages of my tour last year. And I remember it was being one of the most scariest and to this date, most haunting experiences I've ever had. It's kind of like I didn't know how many times I was switching. So my switches and cycles would happen about every 30 minutes. And I'll go here and I'll make my decision and I'll come back and I'll be talking differently, and then I'll walk back and I'll be like, oh, I remember I was going to go buy this, and then come back, and I'll come back in the middle of it and I'll be like, where am I? So all I remember are fragments of still cuts, if you think about it. So that's why, for example, ow. Say hi, Laurie. We were just talking about this. Laurie, do you have any split personalities? No, not that I'm aware of. And funny thing is, Laurie knows when I switch, so her demeanor changes too. It's pretty hard. So I realized if you're not physically and mentally good, for people that have DID, that can mean a big deal to your other identities as well, because not only is the present state the state that really does safeguard and hold the core you weakened, but when I don't know if this is a thing that happens to only people that have DID and bipolar type 1, but I'm just speaking for myself personally. But I tend to realize that when I start splitting when I'm at a very bad state, just my general state is bad, it becomes very dangerous. That's when Mito becomes dangerous, because Mito starts. Imagine you have a spawn of darkness, right? But then he spawns more darkness, and they're just like a version of him. So you have the 100%. That's why I bring up the idea of like Mito. You have the 100% core Mito. So he's made up of fury, rage, love is also a part of it, betrayal, and a lot of different emotions that muster up the experiences from trauma. Hence, it's why it's your guardian. But the only problem is they have a mind of their own, which is why you black out for the most part. So, but then what happens if Mito starts splitting? So then when are you ever going to return to your throne? And I call it the throne, meaning the seat of power. So who's at the front conscious core? So Mito, when he splits, you imagine what kind of split that would look like. It's very nasty, and it's something that I've never been so afraid of in my entire life when I saw that, because I don't remember most of it, but it was something that I've never ever. Well, since I've been through it, I was like, okay, I'm never ever going to ever get to a point like this, because of how dangerous and how scary this can be, because you're literally splitting your dark altar into another version of a dark altar, and that could only mean you're enhancing that character. And remember, we had a name for the character that was relatively dangerous for my splits, and I'm not going to mention the name of this character that Mito split into, but it was to the point where even Mito couldn't come out and save me from that character. Well, very came close to not being able to save me from that character in real life. But yes, maybe is this character part of the lore maybe in the future? Maybe, but it was, I think, one of the most scariest things I've ever seen in my life. And what I mean by scene is during that period of time, it was just hallucinations. And that hallucinations of that character was rather real, and Mido even became dormant to that character. Which means it must have been way more than what he could have handled. And to even see that, to even be in a position where even the character, the alter ego that knows how to take a lot of that trauma and turn it into something else, not even be able to come out into the sea, must have meant that character really, really had something very powerful. Luckily, however, there's something called an emergency kick where when everything starts shutting down, so all my traits and personality start shutting down, I have an emergency kick, and it's only ever happened twice. So it's kind of like a natural instinct for something inside of you to come out. It's like a survival instinct. So when you know you're in life-threatening scenario, it's like you summon your last ultimate fighter, I guess you can say. It's like your body and your mind and your consciousness going into a complete survival instinct mode. And I think during that time, that's when insanity came out. So insanity, and what I mean by insanity is I mean the true insanity. So that's the insanity that I black out in. And it's just so imagine the extreme highs, that's the epitome of insanity. And your extreme lows, 100%. 얼굴 좀 해? 고마워. And imagine the extreme lows of your manics. So that's Mido. Alright? So that is Mido. So you could only sometimes be 60-50%. You could only have like some essence of insanity, but you'll never be completely that. I've been completely Mido a couple of times, but that's the times where you black out. You still glitch here and there. But there's only twice I've ever been the extreme version of insanity. There has ever been only 2 moments in my life. No, sorry, 3. Can't believe it. 3 moments in my life that I've ever been true insanity. And that's when you know shit hit the roof. Now what's dangerous about being these extreme versions of either end? So for example, insanity would have to only kick in that very moment when it's a life or death situation. And I think it's in those moments that I've learned to develop an understanding with a side of me that doesn't want to fall into a complete destructive self of who I am. And I think that's when insanity kicks in. And I think the version of that is that the hard thing about that is you're not going to be able to sleep. So your body is automatically, naturally shutting down. And that's not a really good thing, because if you go more than 4 to 5 days and you say you've been up for more than 4 days and you're further enhancing 3 more days to not sleep, your body will automatically shut down just because of health reasons. So that's the risk that you take on by bringing out a certain character that has to go overdrive with your mind, but it's worth taking the seat of power, because otherwise, it's like, shit went really bad. And just give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. My internet has started barking. So anyway, guys, that is the story and the inspiration behind the law. Go watch So I Danced again. Go watch the whole law. I'm so excited to really show you guys what this whole series is going to be about and how it's really going to take shape and form. And once you guys realize that everything is all intertwined and connected, and it's all based on real situations, a real concept, you guys will get a big kick out of this. And trust me, like we have so many people on board on our team that are non-stop working for this vision. And like I said, it's almost a 10-20 year ongoing plan, I think, project. 10 to say the most, because you know, who knows where I'm going to be then, but 10 years, you know, give or take, you know, get them into the lore, get them into this whole story, and it's as real as day. I can honestly say that. So yeah, my comments have stopped working. I think it's because it's time for me to go now, but I just want to say thank you guys so much. I'm super grateful. I can't believe we're already at the views that we are at with our videos, and you know, guys, just keep spreading it, keep enjoying it, more importantly, because I love to see the comments where people are, you know, have all these theories, and I love seeing your theories because honestly, half of them are on the right path. I'll say on the right path because there's so many things that we haven't discovered yet that I can't wait to unravel, but I'm gonna save that for another day. Just enjoy everything, every single thing we put out for you guys, because there's just so many people that work so hard for this on our team, and they are as passionate as ever because they just love seeing you guys get into it. And number two, we are gonna have so many things that are going to be coming out, related and not related to this, and we can't wait to further share that with our dreamers out there. So all in all, thank you so much for watching this live. I know it's a random time of the day. I know some people are gonna cuss at me because like I just kind of went on the most unexpected time of the day, and some people are at work right now. But I just wanted to say, if anyone wants to clip certain moments and certain things that I said about my disorders or in regards to the universe, and if someone could make a tight edit of that, I'll be more than happy to spread that around. But yeah, thank you guys, and I love you all so much. You are such a big part of the universe. By the way, the other side, the citizens there are called dreamers. Yep. So we based it off of you guys, and yeah. Again, welcome back, and yeah, on to the next. So I have to go back to editing now. Oh shit. Yeah, we are working on some new stuff, but super excited. And like I said, guys, spread it, enjoy it. We can't believe we're almost at the views that we are at. Love you guys to death. Our whole team loves you to death. And yeah, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Our DPR talk, anyway. Alright, peace.